Thanks so much for joining us tonight for Community Connections. We meet with volunteer organizations in our community each month to hear about the good work that's already taking place and then to find out how we can get involved. This year, we're joining with our Holy Ecumenical neighbors, we call HEN for short, Christ Church Cathedral, Good Shepherd, Second Pres, Southside Christian, and Thrivent to help build a Habitat home. And tonight, we get the opportunity to talk with some folks from Habitat to find out a little bit more about the project, the other work that Habitat does, and how we can help out. So tonight, we're going to be talking with Jeremiah Myers, the Resource Development Director at Lexington Habitat. And we also get to talk with Annie, our Habitat home buyer, on this build. So we're so grateful to get to talk with you all, and thanks for taking the time out to speak with us tonight. So first, let's talk a little bit about how we can get involved. And why don't we start with you, Jeremiah? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with Habitat?
I have missed being able to do this in person and to get to chat with folks. But for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Jeremiah Myers. I'm now the Resource Development Director at Lexington Habitat for Humanity. After more than 8 years with the organization, I've worn a lot of different hats and have met a lot of these of you folks, I'm sure, in those capacities. But for me, I've moved back to Lexington in 2010, about the same time that Annie got here. It had been home growing up, and moved back to be close to family. It was such a big pull for me, and then met my wife, and have now settled in here to Lexington. Since then, we've had our two wonderful kids. Cecilia is 7, and Calvin is 5, and is very proud and would want me to tell everyone that he'll be starting kindergarten this fall at Maxwell Elementary. So he's very excited to follow in big sister's footsteps with that. But for me, it has been just a great journey to contribute to this community that I love and that I've been a part of for a long time now. And so I caught the Habitat bug in college, like a lot of folks do, on a build in Louisiana. And once I had seen the power that went into building a house, couldn't wait to try it myself. And so when the opportunity came along, I jumped at it and have been there ever since. And so I love to get to know folks like Annie and to get to work with all these different congregations like Central. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's great. Well, one of the things that's kind of that I've thought more about lately as we look at the housing market, and everything has been so crazy lately. Tell us a little bit about what things have been like during COVID for you all, and what have you all had to change? What have you had to do differently?
So just about everything at some point along the way has changed and looks a little bit different with COVID, as with most folks. So volunteers contribute 16 days out of every build and have done at least that much since the beginning of our organization here in Lexington. So for us in 2020 to adapt by moving to an entirely staff-built house without the benefit of any volunteers for the year of 2020, it was heartbreaking. We have missed folks, and we have missed gathering. Our mission at Lexington Habitat is building homes and building communities and building hope. And so that opportunity to come back together this year, to build communities in person, to bring folks like Annie alongside of our volunteers that have been doing this for decades, to meet neighbors, to meet folks that they haven't encountered in our community is powerful. It's one of the things that we love best. And so we're excited to get to come back to that. But for us, it has changed the number of folks that we have been able to build with every year, and it has changed the order of folks that we have built with over the last few years. But the work has continued as we serve our community, as we build homes, as we sell those homes to families like Annie, who are going to get to begin holidays in them this year, celebrating first birthdays in this home, celebrating all those milestones that come with life. Those are the pieces that we're excited about moving ahead. For us, one of the other things that COVID really impacted was this change in how we were going to be serving Lexington. So as everyone knows, the market has lost all sanity over the last couple of years. And we see home prices increasing, and we see the value of particular locations increasing rapidly. And so a few years ago, we started the process of how can we impact more of Lexington in a different way. And so we really looked at the single family model that we had been building with for the entire history of our organization. And we said, is that the most efficient? Or are there ways that we can serve our community better? And so we started exploring what's the smallest footprint we could possibly build on and build a home that somebody will be able to purchase and own. And we arrived at this location at Perry Street, which is just 50 feet deep. And so each one of those homes there is going to be our first townhome, our single family attached homes. And so those are going to look a little different. Annie will be the second unit that we'll be building with there. And so she'll have neighbors on both sides, very close. And I think she's had the opportunity to meet those folks at this point and has maybe even had class with some of those folks at this point. But those townhomes are quite literally the smallest footprint that we could complete a project on and sell that process to. So when folks see what it looks like over at Perry Street, I think they'll be surprised that we're going to be able to build a three-bedroom home for folks there. But we're excited about seeing that happen and being able to come into small corners of neighborhoods that we maybe wouldn't have been able to do before.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's great. And great to be. Did you start thinking about that prior to COVID, or was this? This
has been work going back all the way back to 2016.
Oh, wow.
As Lexington is one of those unique communities that has the urban service boundary, we've acknowledged that the land is going to be a limiting factor at various times. But for us, there's always a solution to that. It may be a challenging solution in different ways, but we're confident our volunteers are going to be able to build these new units. Cheek to jowl with all of our congregations right there close together.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's awesome. That's wonderful and great to be creative and use space like that as well. So.
And it's worked out really well. So there'll be ultimately 5 townhomes that we'll be building on Perry Street. For us, one of the parts that's most exciting, again, to come back to that building communities piece, is that we have congregations like Central that have been building with Habitat for years. In some cases, those relationships go back to the very beginning of the organization in the 1980s. But many of those congregations have never built together. So some of our United Methodist churches, our Disciples for Christ churches, our Baptist churches, even our Presbyterian and Episcopal churches, so our Catholic parishes. These are folks that have not built those communities outside of their own congregation. And so with 4 of those units being sponsored by faith groups here in Lexington and various congregations, we're excited for folks to be able to get to know each other in a new way and in a new location as they go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Yeah. What a great thing to do, especially now that hopefully, I don't know, pandemic is still happening. I know, but maybe during the summer things can hopefully ease up a little bit, and we can spend some time together, and outdoors will be good too. So
we're keeping a close eye on it, but at this point, we're expecting, we'll still have our volunteers there. We may be back in masks by the time we kick off in 2 weeks, but we will be able to get folks together outdoors. So.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. So, well, tell us a little bit too about what are some of the other services, the other things that Habitat does in the community to help folks.
Yeah. So we have asked great questions going back years about how we serve and who we serve, and what the needs are in our community that we can address. And this year, as everyone is hearing, and as we continue to have those conversations about housing being a critical need in Lexington, one of the questions that we answered a few years ago is how can we serve in neighborhoods that we've had a long history with, but maybe aren't building in that neighborhood at this very moment. So we'll be down on Perry Street quite a bit of 2022. And so we know that we won't be building over near 3rd Street. We won't be building over on Georgetown Street corridor, places that we've got a long history with. So a few years ago, we developed a program called Love Your Neighborhood, where we're able to go in and actually serve existing homeowners, folks who on average have been in their home for more than 20 years, folks who have a long history in their location. This is the home that they have loved. Many times it's the home that they have paid off. But for one reason or another, age, mobility, loss of a spouse, they've gotten behind on keeping up with that property. And so through Love Your Neighborhood, we're able to go in and do up to $20,000 worth of work on an owner-occupied home. We can do accessibility. If somebody has changes in their mobility, maybe they need a ramp, maybe they need a bathroom that will allow them to be safely in that home for another decade. And so we're able to do that. If they've had a problem with the roof, we're able to put a new roof on, change heat, all those kinds of things that really make a home habitable, but that may have slid over the last few years. So we're able to do that. So we love being able to serve this. We have occasionally gone back and helped out folks who have purchased a Habitat home decades ago and who continue to age there, and they found that their needs have changed. And sometimes we found that we have learned better lessons, and so we're able to go back and do something even better the second time than what we did the first time. And so we love that program. And what we found is that everyone knows someone who could benefit from this program. Everyone has a neighbor, everyone has a family member, everyone has an extended member of their circle who can benefit from the home that they know, the home that they love, the neighborhood that they're a part of, being stabilized and being a source of comfort rather than a source of anxiety for them in the next years of their lives. So.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful service, and things that we often don't think about, that we all worry about, and that we all need help with sometimes. So, Annie, we're so grateful that you've taken time out to join us this evening, and we'd love to find out a little bit about you. Would you just like to tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been in Lexington for?
Yes. Okay. I've been here in 2009 from Africa. I'm refugee. I'm refugee with my two sons and the pregnancy for my girl. She born over here. Now I have three children. And when I was come over here, I like America, and I say, that is my life. I will stay over here to work and to study too. And tell my children to study too. I'm happy. My two sons finish school. The second son finished last week on college.
Congratulations! Yeah.
Yeah, and now I live with just my daughter, and I'm grandma with four grandbaby.
Oh, wonderful!
three grandbaby and the one boy. Is that? Yeah, and I have the friend. They have house for Habitat. My friend talk to me every time about for Habitat. Mama, you need to apply. I say yes, and I ask my God. I say yes, God give me a house. When I see the house for Habitat, it's very, very good. There's a need to have me to my property. That is good, because when we pay somewhere, no, I like for my, it's good. And I'm come over here, apply, Miss Kathleen, prove my application. I thank you, God. I thank you, God. I say, that is done for God. And for work too, I can repeat again. I worked somewhere in Hospital Good Samaritan 6 years, and now I work over here in energy and quality inspect the glass. And that I want to have my house. My house is my home. I will stay all of my life. It's my blessing. Let me see. I can see. All of my life. Yeah, okay. All my life I can stay with my children, my daughter. Is that I'm precious for this organization for Habitat. We suffer in Africa, but that's when we come over here. I see it's grace for God to have me to my home.
Annie, can I ask? And I haven't had a chance to ask you about Perry Street. I was so excited that you wanted to buy one of the homes on Perry Street. What are you excited about with that location?
About where you're going to live. Is there anything that you're looking forward to about your new house?
Yeah. On Perry, I like this area because I lived before over there. And when Miss Catherine was showing me, I say, I will go over there. That is good. I like it. And when he tell me we'll begin on June, I say, yes, I will come to assist him. Because it's my home, I need to assist it too. Anytime Habitat calling me, I will come to work.
Just a couple of weeks.
Okay. I like it.
We're looking forward to getting to see you out there at the site too. And can't wait to see your house get underway. So thank you so much for taking the time out to meet with us. I really appreciate it tonight. So
thank you too.
So if folks are going to volunteer and help out, tell us a little bit about that. Do you have to be able to hammer a nail? Are there other ways to help out? How can people be involved?
Absolutely. So we continue to adapt. So we hope that this summer will provide a little bit of a reprieve for us, but we always have a need of folks in one way or another. So if you're interested in coming out and building, our first thing is that we want people to be reassured that there's no expectation that you know anything whatsoever. So one of the things that makes our project managers unique and special folks is that they can technically build a home. They have the technical savvy to do that, but they also love to teach. And so they will work right alongside you, teaching you which end of the hammer to reach for and how to drive that first nail. And so there's no expectation that anybody would do other. If you're willing to help out for 1 to 52 days a year, we've got a spot for you. You young or old, if you can be on the build site, then come out and join us for that. My goal as part of our team that helps with the prep of that is that there's no surprises for our construction department. So let us know if you're interested. Reach out to me, reach out to Glenn Means, our community engagement coordinator, and Glenn will get you plugged into the right spot and let our construction department know you're coming and be prepared for you. If construction is not the spot for you, then we have got opportunities with our restore. We have got everything from our special events where we will need a photographer or we will need folks to hold signs and direct traffic, to the opportunities over in the restore for paint bulking or for accepting donations, those kinds of things. The need is always there. And at the restore, even if it doesn't necessarily strike you as this is what you expect from Habitat, those resources and that time and energy goes back to support folks like Annie and goes back to support our mission. So we sometimes take a tangled path to get there, but ultimately the road does lead to serving folks like Annie and making those partnerships happen. So if you have got a skill or you have got an interest, reach out to us because you never know where that need is at. As we have moved more and more online over the last couple of years, we have had folks that have been a godsend with their video skills, with their photography skills, with their web editing. You name it, it's out there. And so we want to hear about that. We'd love to have those conversations about how to plug you into just the right spot for you that's going to help support Lexington Habitat's mission.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. All kinds of ways for folks to be involved, even if they can't do this. And I know, I believe we're bringing some lunches to the site too. So there's time for folks to be able to bring some food and stuff like that as well this summer. So this is great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to share with us this evening. It's been great to hear from you and great to hear from Annie as well. And we're just excited about this build and this opportunity to be together, to meet some new folks and to help out a little bit. So.
Absolutely. Our pleasure to always connect with the good folks at Central. And we look forward to seeing you all out on sunny cool days in June and July right out there on Berry Street. So
exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jeremiah, for all that you do with Habitat. We're just, grateful for this wonderful organization in our community. And so thank you for your work.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah. We'll see you.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you.
Okay.